even tried to lock up the Master of Chaos.
Martha, nature is healing! The liquidators can't win!
After the darkness and the doubt, Marvin's back and we can shout. Look at the women in yellow again. The mighty mariners are here to win. The coast is yellow once more. The coast is yellow once more.
What, precisely, in the name of all that is holy, was that?
My new tribute to Marvin and the Yellow Kits. I used artificial intelligence. You just type a sentence, and it does all the hard work for you. Isn't it great?
It turned our mascot into waterfowl, followed immediately by a giant, unexplained bee. You cannot simply hand the wheel to a microchip and walk away, Martha.
You are focusing on the glitches. I only asked it for Marvin and the women in yellow. It added the bee as a creative bonus. You just have to feel the vibe, Arthur.
The vibe is an affront to basic biology and gravity. Why you continually insist on using this digital garbage is entirely beyond me. Roll the title sequence. Good evening and welcome to the CCM Fans Report. I'm Arthur Fischel.
And I'm Martha Fischel.
Tonight, we navigate the highs and lows of a packed weekend at home. One match that felt like a heist and another that felt like an injustice.
The men escape the spoon bowl in spectacular fashion, while the women find themselves frustrated by the plastic shakes and some very questionable officiating.
Indeed. We look at the return of Jacob Farrell in a Wanderers shirt, the sudden striking prowess of James Donachie, and a statistical anomaly in the women's fixture that defies logic. It is a peculiar brand of football where one team registers more total shots, creates every major scoring chance in the match, and yet still manages to lose by a comfortable margin. But that is exactly what occurred on Friday night as the Mariners fell 3-1 to Melbourne City.
The fans were absolutely furious, Arthur. The forum was convinced we were playing against 12. City committed 17 fouls to our 8, and Izzy Gomez was treated like a human piñata all night. One fan called it the little team that could versus the sports-washing plastic shakes.
The officiating was certainly a talking point, but one cannot blame the referee for conceding 3 goals in the space of 22 minutes. The match was scoreless at the break, before Annabelle Martin was completely undone by Briley Henry in the 52nd minute. It was a brutal exposure of a lack of pace.
It really was. The forum was gutted for her. She is such a favourite with the fans, and seeing her have a tough night like that was hard to watch. Some fans noted that even when Blake Hughes came on with that extra bit of pace, it was not enough to turn things around, because City were just too clinical.
It is truly impressive how one team can be punished for having their heads in the game while the other is allowed to commit tactical fouls with impunity.
The consensus online was that it was some of the most questionable honesty on display in years, Arthur. It felt like every momentum call went against us.
Questionable honesty is an elegant euphemism for incompetence. Following the opening goal from Henry, Rebecca Stott and Aideen Keane added 2 more in the space of 6 minutes. The contest was effectively over before Isabel Gomez managed to head home a consolation in the 77th minute.
The mood in the stands was already pretty low by then. To make matters worse, the pre-match talk about special guests turned out to be a bit of a tease. Because Newcastle had Shannon Knoll performing on the same night, the forum was joking that we would be unveiling Guy Sebastian just to one-up the scum.
A contest of mid-2000s reality television winners. That is a remarkably specific brand of regional rivalry. To follow that speculation with the reveal of the Asian Women's Cup mascots is quite the pivot.
Exactly. People were hoping for a pop star and got 2 giant plush toys instead. It really set the tone for the night, although I have to say, the Coast Football Ramble podcast crew in Bay 4 did their best to keep the noise up.
Yes, the podcasting contingent. It is heartening to see that a vast majority of the population still prefers independent discourse to manufactured mascots. The marketing department's commitment to bathos is truly second to none.
It certainly is. We won the shot count 12-9 and led the clear-cut chances 3-0, but we still came away with nothing. I suggest we place that invisible trophy for expected goals right next to the Asian Cup mascots in the foyer. But honestly, Arthur, even with the scoreline, it was just such a relief to see the girls back in the yellow kits. After all those months in the alternate colours, it finally felt like the world was right side up again.
A return to traditional aesthetics is small comfort when one is being treated like a human piñata, though I suppose the visual symmetry of the kit was the only thing clinical about our evening, unlike Melbourne City's finishing.
And seeing Marvin out there, that's exactly why I felt I had to make that video tribute for the start of the show. After all that stress about the liquidators, seeing him back on the pitch felt like a proper victory for the fans.
It is a testament to the Mariners faithful that a creature of indeterminate origin avoiding a repossession hearing is considered a major tactical victory. If only the defense had been as difficult to break down as Marvin's alleged chains. If the women's match was a statistical injustice, the men's fixture on Sunday was a statistical robbery. The Western Sydney Wanderers enjoyed 68% possession, registered 20 shots to our 8, and yet left Gosford with absolutely nothing.
It was the Spoon Bowl, Arthur, and it looked exactly like one in the first half when Angus Thurgate scored in the 8th minute. One fan was actually debating whether to just go home and watch the second half in the air conditioning.
A tempting proposition given the humidity. Yet, somehow, the side found their resolve. Ali Ogla curled in a magnificent equaliser in the 55th minute, courtesy of a well-placed assist from Storm Rue.
It gave everyone hope, but then they brought on Hiroshi Ibusuki. Seeing him score against us in the 69th minute was like running into an X at the supermarket, Arthur. Just deeply unpleasant and entirely unnecessary.
Indeed. However, the side refused to capitulate. In the 77th minute, Nathaniel Blair restored parity once more with a powerful header from a Lucas Moragas cross.
The crowd was still buzzing from that equaliser when we nearly lost Brad Tapp. He went down, punched the ground in agony, and the entire stadium assumed his knee had surrendered again.
One fan spoke to him after the game and saw the raking stud marks down his ankle. It was apparently not deemed a foul, yet justice was finally served by James Donachie in the 89th minute.
That was the best bit. The ball struck the post, rebounded across the face of goal, and Donachie was right there to turn it into the net. The stadium went absolutely mental, Arthur. Pete on the mic gave it a world record goal announcement. I think he was still yelling when the teams kicked off again.
It was certainly enthusiastic, a performance on the public address system to rival the one on the pitch, though Donachie's own performance involved a significant amount of cardio.
He ran so far everyone thought he was heading all the way to Orimba. The forum was convinced he was not coming back.
A distance that, while impressive for a celebration, would have made the post-match interview remarkably difficult to conduct. It was his first A-League goal in what feels like a geological epoch, a vital contribution that secured a 3-2 victory and a massive jump up the table. We jumped from 11th to 7th in one weekend.
And as one fan pointed out on the forum, Arthur, we are completely undefeated since the APL took over.
A bureaucratic miracle. Though relying on the governing body for momentum is not a sustainable tactical plan, nor does it have any historical precedent in this league.
Except for when Frank Lowy owned Sydney FC and the entire league at the exact same time, dear.
Right, we will have to leave that there. Time now for the Mooned Report. Looking at the celestial scorecard for the men's season thus far, we have officially mooned 6 teams, a number that would be more impressive were it not for the 7 lunar eclipses obscuring our progress.
And don't forget the 4 half moons, Arthur. Those 4 draws where nobody went home happy.
A ledger of 6, 4, and 7. It is a record that suggests a team still deciding whether it belongs in the light or the shadows. For now, however, the momentum is undeniably with the yellow and blue. The weekend's results have created a curious symmetry on the ladders. Following the win over the Wanderers, the men have vaulted 4 places into 7th position.
But it's a sadder story for our girls. The loss to City sees them slide down to 7th as well.
The women now face a month-long hiatus from domestic duties as the A-League takes a pause for the AFC Women's Asian Cup.
A month off. It'll give the girls plenty of time to reset, but in the meantime, we've got a massive home tournament to look forward to. I'll be glued to the Matildas, but I'll certainly miss our local Friday nights.
The men, however, have no such luxury of a break. This Saturday, February 28th, the eyes of the region turn to Polytech Stadium for the F3 derby.
Saturday at 5 p.m, Mariners versus the Scum. And would you believe it, Arthur? It is officially a clash of the two form teams of the competition.
A derby played at high intensity with both sides in peak condition. It is a prospect that is as exciting as it is likely to end in a flurry of yellow cards and forum meltdowns.
I wouldn't have it any other way. We'll see you at the stadium.
Until next time, this has been the CCM Fans Report. Martha!